Well, kind of a fault of our own.
No fault between us,
Right.
basically.
We ended on great terms. We just knew that the timing was really not on our side.
Correct.
Yeah. And I
You
ended
were
up,
starting your radio career.
yeah.
I was starting my prison career. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And one thing that resonated was like, nah, you said, no, you young, like, don't focus on me. Like, I'm here for a while. Like, go on with your life, you know? And I just was like, what? And I didn't understand it. And then as I got older, I understood it.
kind of
So,
understood it.
yeah, you were very truthful and forthcoming. And also, um, being young, like you dated, like I wasn't the only one.
Right.
But that's the thing, because it wasn't a situation where that's what we was looking for. We were friends that
Correct.
had a connection.
Correct.
And I want to
Correct.
make that clear. We were friends that had that connection. It wasn't, so I think that kind of had a effect on how we handled each other.
Right. No hearts broken or anything like that.
Yeah. And then we ended up going on with our lives. You got married. I got married. I got divorced. You were still married. So I was like, oh. And then my mom ended up having the stroke. And so I was back and forth to New York a lot. And this was maybe like 14 years later we reconnected. And I called Don and say, hey, Don, what's going on? How you doing? I'm in town. I just wanted to be like, what's up? And he's like, oh my gosh, Sonny, good to hear from you. And I think you was on your way to his house or something. I don't know. But he was like, Malcolm's going through a divorce. Man, like, if he hear your voice, I know it'll like lighten him up. And so I remember you end up calling me and we end up having lunch.
Right.
Oh no, we went to City Line for dinner.
City Line for dinner.
Yeah. And from that point on, it was just like we took off. We
took off like butterflies.
Yeah. We did. I mean, we was a little older, you know what I'm saying? But it reconnected like we never missed a beat. And I just want to say to you that I never ever forgot about you. He was always somebody that I always thought about.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I always thought about you too as well.
Yeah.
I always knew I was going to marry you.
Oh, thank you, babe. And with that, I mean, this is one of those love stories that we dated younger, reconnected, got back together, and happily ever after. But that's not reality. We just have a connection that keeps us, because just like every couple, we go through our ups and downs. I honestly could say this was the first relationship I've taken seriously and actually had submitted to. And it has changed me. I feel like it has helped me become a better person, understanding that it's not just me.
You submitted to the relationship.
Right. The relation. That's very important to say. Yes, the relationship. And a lot of times when we hear that word submission, I know for most women, we look at it like giving up control. And it's not really like that. Not in my experience, it's not like that. And like you said, it was the whole relationship. And it brought about growth.
Exactly.
And women aren't the only ones that submit.
We got to submit to the relationship too, not the person, the relationship.
Right. And speaking from the man's point, babe, why are some men scared of that submission? And what does that submission look like from the male's point of view? Because I can get to, I'll go into a little bit about what it looks like on the woman's side of it. And by the way, I love this conversation that we're having. Like, this is what we do. But go ahead.
Lack of power. Men to look at is lack of power.
Mm-hmm.
Manhood. But you got to submit to the relationship, not to the person itself, but to the relationship.
And what does the relationship look like as far as submitting to it? Like, give an example.
Okay, submitting to the relationship, meaning you should come in anytime you want before, or you didn't, you know, and have anybody to not own up to, but
keep you accountable.
Exactly, keep you accountable.
Okay.
Or whatever. So now you can't come in 12, 1, 2, 3 anymore. You got to start coming in at 10 or 11 or whatever like that. So you're not submitting to her, you're submitting to the relationship, because that's what it takes to be in a relationship, certain rules and understandings. So that's what you're submitting to.
Yes, I love that. And on the flip side of it, for a woman, it's the same thing, giving up that power. And for us, it's like many women have to do things on their own, pay the bills, run the household. We have to submit to the relationship. And an example of that is you can't control everything in it. It can't be you're doing the finances and you have the last say and everything. It can't happen because it is going to cause so much tension with both parties trying to fight for their voice in the relationship. And I'm not going to lie, I was that woman in the beginning.
Still are sometimes.
But not as much, right?
Yeah, not as much.
Not as much. And it's like I said, it's a work in progress. And seeing that, I'm like, okay, I have to take into your account your feelings and how you have to be perceived into the in our marriage. So that's what I'm saying. Relationships aren't really about you. It's about us. Yeah. And there was a quote that I saw on Facebook, and it said, marriage isn't about being on the same page. It's about having two different points of view that can get on the same page. And I thought that was so spot on. Yeah. And for me, it was hard to do that. I'm like, no, my way goes. So yeah, that in itself is the meat of the relationship and having it grow, but also having that dedication. Because you taught me more about being dedicated in a relationship. Because I was, I'm not gonna lie, I was flighty. Longest relationship I had was like 1.5 years. And that included my first marriage.
Key is patience.
Yeah. Yeah. Patience.
The pets are acting up today.
They are. What is Boris doing?
All over the place.
Normally, everybody's chilling.
Nice day out. That's why hotter than yesterday. It's nice out.
I'm going to take Boris out for a little stroll later. One thing real quick, I just want to go over. This is one of the... Oh, babe, you know what? I want to talk about this real quick. And I just got to say, this is such a great conversation that we're having. I wanted to talk about how we've both grown. I just talked about me, realizing I can't be selfish. Sometimes I am. It's hard to break a habit you've been doing forever, but I really do try to not be as selfish in it and kind of think of you. in our marriage, what have you grown in?
Patience.
Yeah. Patience. Now, I read this article that said that the second time around for men in a marriage, their second marriage, they are more committed because men don't see themselves growing old alone at all. Women, on the other hand, we'd be like, I'm going to be by myself until we get old. And then we'd be like, oh my God, I wish I had somebody. Or, nobody really wants to grow old alone. Is it really true, this statistic, that men will try harder the second time around?
Yeah, second time around, they'll try harder. One, they already lost the first round, so they don't want to lose again. Mm-hmm. Growth more.
Yeah.
So not making the same mistakes as the first one.
Yeah.
So basically, we learn from our mistakes.
It's really the men that most women wait on. You know what I mean? So I thought that was like really interesting and really good. Men have more of the control of the relationship, whether they decide they want to get married or if they don't want to get married. Because most women, once they get in a relationship, they're like, all right, what's going on? Are we going to commit? Are we not? The man is the one that typically makes the ultimate decision.
Right.
Now, oh my gosh, this is kind of like a little fun topic. I'm a part of one of the wives groups on Facebook, and this topic, I just thought I'd bring it up just to have a little something fun. We've been through this before. I believe that you kind of do your own thing, but the question was, would you cook another meal for your hubby if he didn't like what you made? You don't care, right? You do it yourself.
Right, because I know that once you guys cook one meal, don't want to cook another one. So
one and done. One and done. All right, that was so good. Thanks so much for sharing, babe. That was awesome. I think that was a really good discussion we had there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else you want to say?
I got paid for this, right? Put the check in my mother's name.
I got you. I got you.
I owe taxes.
I got you. Oh gosh. All right. So let's start wrapping up the show. I mean, let's start wrapping up the show. So when I did my radio show, one of my favorite features was my morning feel good. And I still want to do something like that. So I decided I'm going to do a feel good for the show. Babe, do you have an inspirational quote that you may want to share?
The quote for today is, "A hungry lion hides his claws."
So my inspirational quote is, what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. I like that. That's pretty much sums up what we were talking about in relationships. You become a better person. So I like that. Just want to provide you with just some information before we close it out with how we detach from this world and create our own safe space and ways to kind of clear our mental so that we're not bombarded and stressed out. We'll get to that in a second, but let me just give you all the social media and email addresses. If you want to reach out, if you want to, please make sure you like the Facebook page, Sunny Side of Life Podcast. And if you want to submit your business, this is all about showing love, promoting, building a community where we support each other. So feel free to send that email to Sunny, SONNY, Side of Life Podcast @gmail.com. Now let's move on and close up the show with how we like to take care of ourselves? What does our self-care look like? You want